everyone, and welcome to the International Sedona Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn, and we're coming to you live from Sedona Rouge Hotel. And sitting with me today is filmmaker Monika
Wilczynska. I'm sorry about my name.
That's okay.
At least the first name is international. It's good. It's good. Monika.
Good.
Monika is fine.
And Monika is great. And your film, Who I Am?
Who I Am is a drama short film, and it tells the story of a young transgender teenager who comes from a very religious family, and so they try to figure out their relationship to God and to religion and be okay in their own skin. The character is transgender, but the film itself is not just about being transgender. It's about not fitting the norms that have been set by a society which you don't necessarily feel you're a part of, and it's about speaking up for who you are and be proud of who you are.
And also, the film is based on a true story and a friend of yours, correct?
Absolutely. The film is based on two true stories. The transgender part of it is a friend of mine from Sweden who is part of the first congregation of Sweden that accepts gay marriage. They're a choir director at the congregation. And so we were sitting very late at night on Skype one evening, and they opened up to me and they told me how their coming out story made their parents reject them, and they had to move out and faced a lot of prejudice both from the church community and from their family. But they also faced a lot of support, and they found so many people in the religious community who were standing behind them and encouraged them to not deny their identity and to shine. And a couple of years later, they're now back with their family. Their family has finally accepted them for their identity, for who they are, and they actually work at the congregation in Sweden as a choir director. And they're a deeply spiritual person, and they believe that they have been here sent to earth in order to make sure that everybody who does not feel included in the religious community because of their identity, because of maybe their sexual preference, does not feel excluded and feels loved exactly the way that they are. And I thought their message was so touching, and they are so strong in what they do, you know, in the courage that they had to be open about who they are and what they believe in. I was so inspired. I wanted to make a film about it and share their story about around the world. And on the other side is my story and my personal experiences with the church on one side, and on the other side just looking for your identity and coming to terms with who you are and being able to express it openly to the world without being scared that you're going to be bullied, that you're going to be laughed at, that people are going to tell you that you are never going to be able to do what you want to do. So I combined those two in that film. And hopefully, you know, my crew and I, we didn't want to give the audiences any answers, because I feel like today in the film industry so many people are being spoon-fed rather than making them question what they see. So I wanted to just leave the audience with questions, and they can figure out the answers for themselves with what feels right to them.
And how did this particular relationship with your friend affect you personally?
I think it definitely made me grow as a human being, and it made me see the world from a different perspective, because I am not transgender, and I was learning about something that was maybe slightly foreign to me before I had such a close friend who went through that. And so I think it definitely made me a much more compassionate person, and it made me question myself and question the world around me. I think that people are very scared of what they don't know, and being transgender is just one very small way of being different or being considered as different. It can be your skin color, it can be where you're from, it can be even your accent, it can be any political or religious views that you have. And that relationship with my friend, that friendship, it really made me want to be more open and more grounded in who I am, and it just taught me to not be scared.
You know, I think that's very true. I mean, I have a friend who's transgender as well, and I think what it taught me, because at the very beginning you don't know how to react to it, and then you realize that you cannot be judgmental, and then you become protective of that particular person. So I think it's really interesting the steps that personally you go through that path, and then also after all of that is you do want to tell the world that it's okay.
Absolutely, and it's more than just being okay. Obviously we aren't at a place yet where being transgender would be just like, okay, I had soup in the morning or I had cereal in the morning. It's still, people still consider it to be quite a controversial issue where it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. Everyone should be accepted for the way they are, but obviously this sparks a bigger conversation about what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a man, how does your gender end / or your sexuality defines you, what is a human being. Because obviously even within the LGBTQIA community, being gay or being lesbian is different to be transgender, and obviously we are still all being prejudiced against, but transgender people in particular get so much backlash because it's still, there's so much misconception around it. And I think first and foremost, transgender people should be speaking up for themselves, and they should be defining who they are. They should be talking. They should be here, in fact. I wish my friend could be here to talk, because there's still a lot of people who are not transgender and who are talking about transgender issues, just like there's a lot of white people talking about racial issues, where it should be also people who are affected by those issues speaking up for themselves.
And how has this particular film been taken by the LGBT community?
I am very, very happy to say that the film has traveled the world. It has been at 13 different festivals with an incredibly positive answer worldwide. We've premiered it in Canada at the Montreal World International Film Festival. We went on to screening it in Edmonton as well. We had 6 different festivals in the States, including Sedona. It was also screened in Uganda, in Africa, at Uganda's first LGBTQ international film festival. Personally, I couldn't attend, but they asked me to send a video footage there to introduce the film. And I think having the Ugandan community choose this film as a voice for their generation and for what their nation is going through, and the prejudice that they're facing, obviously because it's illegal in Uganda to be gay or to be transgender. It's such a privilege to be able to be part of the conversation and to be able to be a voice for tolerance and a voice for understanding.
And do you find this throughout the world, that it's pretty much the same throughout the world?
I am happy to say that everywhere that I've been so far with this film, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. Now, there's still so many countries that I want to send the film to, because the festival circuit started in late August 2016, so we're going to be going to festivals until December. I want to send it to Eastern Europe. I'm looking at festivals in Poland, where I'm from, in Czech Republic, Slovakia. I also want to send it to Northern Ireland and to Ireland and to Australia. So I'll see what the response is there once we're there.
Awesome. And this is your first film, correct?
Yes, absolutely. It's my graduation film. I graduated from university last year, and so this is my graduation project. I wanted to make a film that was very meaningful and that hopefully helped the audience realize something and question themselves. It wasn't just a graduation project for me. It was a message that I wanted to send. And now we're also, regarding the festival circuit, we're going to be in Cannes, because the film has been selected to be part of the Short Film Corner at Cannes Film Festival. So we're going to be there in May. We're very happy about that. So we're very happy to be bringing the film to French audiences.
Congratulations on that. And
Thank
how
you.
how has your film been received in Sedona?
Absolutely amazing. I was so touched by the generosity of the Sedona audience, by the organizers, by the press. Everyone was so welcoming, and I think it's such a special space to share your creativity, to share your vision, and just have an open conversation. Sometimes when you go to film festivals, there's this barrier between the moviegoers and the filmmakers. Here there isn't. I just came back from a panel at which I was speaking women in film this morning, and we had a conversation with the audience. It wasn't us speaking and then the audience asking one question. It was the audience talking with us about the issues in the industry and about their films. And it's just so inspiring to be here. You know, I always wanted to visit Sedona. I think now that I've seen it, I've been here since Saturday, I think it's the most beautiful place I've ever had the pleasure of visiting, and I just feel so lucky to be here.
Well, I think we're lucky to have you here, and I'd like to open this up to the media for questions.
Do you have any future plans once you're done with your festival run of maybe submitting it to PFLAG and local organizations, well, international organizations, to help spread the message even further once you're done with the festival run?
Absolutely. We still have quite a long festival run because we have a festival run until December. But I think if this film can help the LGBTQIA community in any way, or any sort of peace spreading community, because it is a LGBTQIA target film, but it's not just about that. So I would be very happy to lend this film to any organization who would be interested in spreading the message.
Excellent.
Any
Yes.
other questions?
You mentioned earlier that it's important for people to be able to tell their own stories. Through your research, are there any trans activists that you would recommend people go look at if they want to learn a little bit more about the experience, whether that be like filmmakers or scholars or like that?
I mean, to be honest, I actually read Lily Elbe Diaris, who was the first transgender woman to undergo the operation, and I was very inspired by her journey, and I was very inspired how even back then, so many decades ago, there was someone who was a voice through their story. So I would say if anyone is interested in understanding the transgender journey, the first person to look at would be the first person who ever underwent the operation. So I would think reading Lily Elbe Diaries would be definitely something to do. But I was also in London. I had the pleasure of working with a transgender activist and model whose name is Joanna Londinium, and she actually appeared in our video campaign because we did an Indiegogo campaign to help finance the film. And she is an incredible young woman who also travels around the world, helps the LGBTQIA community, the transgender community, and we were very privileged to have her. And I've learned so much from her as well on the journey. So she's all over social media, so I'll definitely recommend people to go and check her out.
Any other questions?
I was wondering, for those who weren't able to make the female filmmakers panel, maybe share your experience in that, and then also maybe your hopes for female filmmakers in the future in the industry.
Thank you so much for your question. The panel was absolutely incredible because we had 5 women from different generations, all incredible filmmakers, incredible stories from very different backgrounds though. So I think that made the panel very rich and very diverse. I loved that we had so many males in the audience because funnily enough we had a comment from one of the male filmmakers who was present in the audience who said that the day before they were talking about going to the panel and somebody laughed and said, "Oh, you're that kind of person to go to the female filmmaker panel." And I actually admire the courage of that person to have been able to speak up about it, because I think there's still a long way to go. Thankfully, we paved the way, and the way in which we behave with others and the message that we spread will help people to be more open-minded and will hopefully help women to feel equal in an industry that has discriminated them for a very long time. Because historically, there are so many screenwriters in the 1920s, 1930s who were writing films, and they were all women, but nobody talks about them. It's been hugely overlooked by Hollywood, and I think that's something that we need to bring up, because now there's maybe not even 9-8% of women directors, And the number, unfortunately, at least in America, from what we said on the panel, one of my colleagues said that on the panel, the numbers are still going down. And even if you look at the Academy Awards, there was only ever 4 women who were nominated as a director with only 1 winner. So I think we definitely need to help those numbers grow. And if there was a message that I would have for aspiring filmmakers is go for it and don't let anyone stop you, and don't let anybody tell you that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, not educated enough, or you can't do it because that's a man's job. So definitely do your research and surround yourself with people who have similar passion to yours and who nurture you and help you grow instead of being in competition with you. Because one of the things that we said at the panel is that women have been made feel that we need to compete each other for jobs, for male attention, for money, for anything really. And I think you will agree with that as well. Mm-hmm. And this is not the way to go. We do not compete with each other, we co-create. And it's in our nature to nurture everything around us. So being in competition is actually going against who we are. So I think female filmmakers should help each other, should talk to each other, exchange ideas, and support each other.
Monika, I do have to say, your mom's sitting here watching, and you raised a beautiful daughter. I do have to say that. So you're so beautiful. How could people see your film?
So right now it's only available in the festival circuit. We're probably only going to be releasing it online either in December 2017 or early 2018. It depends when the festival circuit will end. We are probably going to do an online release on Short of the Week, followed by a Vimeo release, so that everyone will be able to see it. Mm-hmm. But I would strongly encourage people to try and go to one of the festivals if they have a chance. The film is still screened here in Sedona today at 6 p.m. It's in Harkins Theatre, and it's screening with a feature film called Real Boy. So if somebody wants to purchase the tickets, it would be for Real Boy segment. And I would love to meet the audiences here in Sedona.
Well, you are extremely beautiful and talented,
so
and thank you so much for your messages and for standing out and standing up and having the courage to talk about issues like this. I know this is something that you enjoy doing, and we're going to see more films like this coming from you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. And we'll be back shortly with more from the Sedona International Film Festival.